All right, everybody, do you want the good news first or the bad news? The good? The good is that we're all here together gathered, right? That we're gathered up and that we're woken up since 2020. When 2020 hit, remember when COVID, the nonsense that surrounded COVID, the 10,000 people that died and we've got to lock it down. I was in 23 years of my life in corporate America as the vice president of human resources for a medical institution first, a company that owns and operates hospitals, and in the automotive industry. My job was to negotiate multi-billion-dollar deals with the unions for these corporate entities. When COVID hits, Doug, we need you to draft policies. 10,000 people are dead. We don't know what this is. We need you to lock down, shut down, and prevent care. I go, hang on a minute, 10,000 people? 10,000 people? We've had flu seasons where 170,000 people have died. What's the panic? To make a very long story short, our team investigated it. We had, of the 10,000 people, we had access to 7,000 death certificates. Who died of COVID? This was my question. Who died of COVID when it was the primary cause of death? How many of those 10,000 people? Want to take a guess? Out of 7,000 people, 125 died of COVID when it was the primary cause of death. A few of them, you know, the guy who was in an unfortunate motorcycle accident who died of severe head trauma, who had COVID, was listed as a COVID death. So nonsense. You know, this is called bureaucracy, fraud, and crime. And Kansas is full of it from every corner of the government. Now, not you good people, but you know that that's part of it. When I was ordered to write policies that would lock down, shut down, and keep people out, I said no. The data doesn't back it up. After 23 years with this company, this was in 2021, I was fired. And so that's why I started The Right Side with Doug Billings, which today gets 2 million viewers a month, 76,000 people in Kansas subscribe to it, and we're telling the truth to the American people. We will root out fraud, waste, and abuse. I'm glad to hear there's a COJ, and I've never heard of it, but I'm glad that it's there. I'm going to institute KDOJ as a cabinet-level position reporting to the governor. We're going to root out fraud, waste, and abuse in every department that reports to the governor's office and beyond. It's about time we do this. The money that we're going to save will be incredible. Property tax in Kansas, everywhere I go, people talk about it. I'm not even convinced that it's constitutional. I'm not even convinced that property tax is constitutional. We have people that buy and own, people who own property, farms, ranches, your automobile. Folks, the American dream is not for rent in Kansas. You should not have to rent your property from the government after you buy it. We're going to tackle this. Schools, oh my gosh, DEI, if anybody supports DEI, there's a rhino, ladies and gentlemen. You want a litmus test for another one? People that think that, oh my gosh, there's no election integrity issues in this state. That's a rhino talking. If anyone would ever dare to suggest to you that Kansas does not have election integrity issues, they are either wildly misinformed or they're lying to you. We have got to get to the bottom of this. Day one executive order will establish an election integrity commission, and we're going to go back to the intent of the founding fathers, which is election day, not election month. The machines are gone. Paper watermarked ballots, that's the answer. And I'm going to work hard with the legislature. I want Kansas to have a statewide paid holiday for election day. Get out and vote, and let's get back to the intent of the founding fathers. The founding fathers, the straw that really was the one that made me run, the satanic black mass on the steps of our Capitol. Both parties, well, we might not like this, Doug, but it's free speech, and we have to allow it. BS! That's BS. The founding fathers had no intention to wrap the sacred beauty of freedom of speech around Satanism. And we've got to have people that are bold enough to tell you this truth in this language. It would have never have happened if I were governor. Not for a moment. They have their own barns, their own homes, their own houses. Let them go do that nonsense there. The founding fathers had no intention of wrapping free speech around Satanism. Give me a break. Let's tell the truth. And let's get back to the intent of the Founding Fathers with regards to schools and education. Our students are failing because decisions about curriculum are originating in Topeka. That will end with me. Curriculum decisions go back to the counties in which you live, to parents and school boards, period. The Kansas Department of Education audited. They can certify teachers all day long, but they're not going to determine what our kids learn in the classroom. And the only flags that display our pride in the classroom will be the Kansas flag and the American flag. That is it. Nothing else will do. Child sex trafficking happens in every zip code in this state. Child sex trafficking is a scourge on this society. Another day one executive order, a child sex trafficking task force that I will order the Kansas Patrol, the National Guard. We are going to shut it down. We are going to hunt these evil people down and do away with child sex trafficking in this state. It happens in every zip code, folks. It's barbaric and it's evil. And I'm glad that we all are on the same page with the idea that the radical liberal, I call it the LGBTQ kook movement, it is absolutely going to end. Imagine the radical left in this country. Kamala Harris and Mike Walls, the poster man of the wussification of the American male, ladies and gentlemen, they had no intention to win the presidency and vice. That was not their number one goal. Really? What was it? Their number one goal is the same goal that the radical left has in this country, to push the needle socially and politically as far to the left as possible. Imagine what we're talking about. The myth of gender misappropriation. That is a myth. It's a mental disorder. God does not make mistakes when he assigns gender. And the radical left will dare to try to convince you that these children who are brainwashed and indoctrinated, the only way they can achieve happiness is if they mutilate their genitalia. That's barbaric language, but it needs to be said because that's what they're doing. Not on my watch. April McCoy and I are going to put an end to this. And within the last 30 seconds, life is always a winning issue for us, folks. Don't be beat down by others who might say, Doug, don't bring up abortion. Don't bring up life. It's a loser for us. BS. Life is always a winning issue for us. Michael, come up here, my son. Michael is 22 years old and he has Down syndrome. He's my son. Come on up here, my boy. There are members of the radical left who would dare to suggest to us that when we're prenatally diagnosed with a child like Michael, that it's just an inconvenience, that we should be able to abort it. Well, we're not going to do that. Michael's life is meaningful. It has wonder, joy, and meaning. He gives wonder, joy, and meaning to me. And if God were to come down right now and say, hey, Doug, I'd be happy to make Michael a typical kid for you, I'd get on my knees and say, no, thank you, Lord. He's perfect just the way you've made him. And that's what I believe. Thank you, Michael. Take a bow. Thank you, everybody. Doug Billings for Kansas, F-O-R, DougBillings4Kansas.com. April McCoy and I are honored to be your candidates for governor and lieutenant governor. God bless you all, and thanks for what you do for the state. Thank you.